speakers that are down before me. So I was invited here tonight because Efficiency Vermont has been undertaking a one-year effort to understand why aren't people pursuing zero-energy homes. And so I guess I want to start by saying, why would you pursue a zero-energy home? There are lots of personal reasons, but the reason that I talk to people most about is the economic argument, which I think maybe you've just been talking about, the economic argument. A zero-energy home is absolutely possible right now in most homes. So that's the technical side of things. There's the equipment to make a home operate as a zero-energy home. The renewable energy options are available and less expensive now than they ever have been. And the knowledge about how to make the home itself ready to operate at a very low energy level, that's all well understood, and it's a well-developed art how to do that. So the technical side, we got it, it's done. The reason I think that most people don't ever consider it for their own home is they think it's too expensive. They think that's for wealthy people. That's not for me. That's not for me if I live on a fixed income. It's not for me if I'm raising a family. You know, at any point in our life, it's unusual that most of us would ever get to a place where we say, okay, I've got a lot of extra money. Let's make a really big change in my life. But it doesn't have to be a barrier. The truth is, operating a home as a zero-energy home is the least expensive way to operate the home, because in the last 5 years, heat pump technology has made it possible for us to use electricity very efficiently, if you want to call it efficiency, but to heat our homes with electricity very effectively. And renewable energy has come down in cost, and so the combination of those two things just makes the cost actually come out all in the favor of buying your own electricity and making your own electricity at the outset, rather than riding a fuel roller coaster for the next 20 years. Energy costs are expected to increase at the rate of 5 to 7% every year. They have been for the last 20 to 25 years, pretty consistently. There have been some wild swings in there along the way, but you know, that's a pretty long-term average. I don't have a crystal ball. None of us really know what's going to happen to energy costs in the future, but any mathematicians in the room? No, I think that's like a 13-year doubling period. So I'm just going to let that sink in. In 13 years, you may be paying twice as much to operate your home as you do now. Or now, you could pre-buy all the energy forever after, and not ever, you know, your costs would never rise. So, let's say you don't have the cash to do this, and you take a loan out. Great rates right now for taking a loan. And your loan payments stay fixed. They don't go up 5 to 7% every year. And the thing that you're buying with those fixed loan payments, the value of that is all the energy costs that you have now, but the money you pay for it is lower, even than the cost even than the price that you're paying now. So I think you were just talking about this as I walked in with very bad timing, but most of us are paying about 15 cents a kilowatt hour for electricity. That's about the same in terms of energy content as propane. It's not quite as good in terms of energy content as oil. No, I'm sorry, it's quite a bit better than propane. It's about the same as natural gas. And it's not quite as good as, let's see, it's a little bit better than oil. Getting my, so let's say that over again. The most expensive energy right now is propane, and then fuel oil, then natural gas and electricity, if you use electricity at the higher efficiency that you would use it with a heat pump. Those two are the most cost-effective way to use energy. So if you can take that 15 cents a kilowatt hour that we're all paying now for electricity, and you can get that same electricity for 10 or 11 or 12 cents a kilowatt hour, then you can operate your home for lower cost if you pre-buy all your electricity with a solar system. So I think the financial argument is awesome. I can't tell you how much it's going to cost to take your home the way it is now and bring it to a zero energy state. There are lots of oddball things that happen.
Could you define what you mean by a zero energy home?
So I just let the net part drop off because it's too much of a mouthful. But the regulations in Vermont are very, very supportive of operating a building as a net zero energy building, which is to say over the course of a year that you will generate as much electricity as the building uses. So that's net zero energy. And the regulatory structure in Vermont is such that not only are you credited for all the electricity that you feed back into the electric grid at the same rate that they will charge you if you buy electricity off the electric grid, but for at least 10 years after you install your system, the utility is also required to pay you more than that for each kilowatt hour. So that's that beneficial regulatory structure that makes it so awesome to have renewable energy and net meter it to the grid. That's part of what makes the financial argument so persuasive or so strong. So I call it a zero energy home. I'm really talking about a net zero energy home.
And not for electricity.
Pardon me?
For heat.
Well,
or are you talking about heating your home with electricity?
I am. So I'm not sure how much time I have since I came late.
Another 2-3 minutes. But then we do have another couple of folks who are going to get into heat pumps a little bit. So.
Okay, so you can heat your home with electricity, and that would be the only way to operate your home as a net zero energy home. So it's possible. The three legs of the stool that make up the zero energy home are renewable energy, heat pumps of some kind or another. There's lots of different versions of heat pumps. There's a lot of excitement about a particular kind of heat pump that's coming on strong right now. But there are lots of different kinds of heat pumps. In fact, we all have heat pumps right now anyway in our refrigerator, maybe our dehumidifier, maybe our air conditioner. So heat pumps are not new technology, but the performance for heating your home in this climate is great now. It's really taken off. So renewable energy, heat pumps to use that electricity that you're making renewably, and then a big investment in energy efficiency so that you can keep your system small. Because most of us, if we took our home right now and tried to make all the energy that we use, we'd end up with just enormous systems, an enormous renewable energy system, an enormous heat pump, or maybe several heat pumps, maybe 6. So to keep those systems small, we invest a lot in energy efficiency, then we need fewer heat pumps and less renewable energy. That's the three-legged stool that makes a zero energy home. I think I kind of lost the track of where I was going, but since we're going to have other folks talk about more of that, and we'll be able to circle around to that, I think we'll just stop there.
So next we've got RJ Adler with Sun Common, who's going to talk a little bit about their newest initiative, which is a solar heating and cooling system, which actually dovetails nicely with what Ling just covered.
Great. So as Ben said, I'm RJ Adler. I'm from Sun Common. Thank you all for coming tonight. Thanks to VPIRG for putting this event together. And thanks to Champlain Valley Unitarian Universalist Society for letting us use this building. I'm actually a member here, so I'm really happy that this event is here at my church. I want to talk a little bit about Sun Common. I'm going to stand up because I don't think everyone can see me.
Would you like a mic? Yes.
Sure, yes, if that's available.
The crowd says yes.